All right, so pretty recently, I uploaded a video on the channel where I reviewed the Nintendo Switch 2 as a whole. And in that video, I said a lot of positive things about Mario Kart World. You can go back and check it to see what I'm talking about, but I was basically saying like, oh, I'm addicted to it. I'm really enjoying the game. It's a great game. And not even a week later, like a few days later, my opinion on the game has already done basically a complete 180, and I figured I would just make a whole video reviewing the game as a whole because I have a lot to say about it. This was one of those weird situations with a game for me where the more I played the game, the more I realized to myself, wow, I really don't like this game. This actually really sucks, and there's a lot of dumb shit going on. And believe me, I didn't want that to be the case. It's not like I'm playing fucking NBA 2K where I'm coming in here expecting to just hate everything about the game, and I already know that. Like, when this game was first shown off, I was like instantly glued to my screen because the promise of an open world connecting like Mario Kart game sounded like the perfect thing that Mario Kart needed to like really evolve. Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was pretty much a perfect game. You really couldn't improve on that game. The only real way that I thought that they could go to make it better was to go completely open world, which is basically what that did. And it sounded really smart in theory. And now that I've actually put a decent amount of time into the game and I've played a lot online, I'm just kind of sitting here with an empty feeling and I'm like, wow, that's very underwhelming and kind of shit. And I'm going to try my best to articulate why I feel that way. So let's start here with free roam, because to me, this is the most underwhelming part of the game. I had really high hopes for the free roaming. Like the idea of being able to drive on this huge map, like interconnected with all of the tracks, genuinely sounded so cool. But in reality, it's empty and it sucks. Like the open world is huge. Like you can drive around, but there's nothing to engage with. Like there's these little missions. It's kind of like mission mode from Mario Kart DS. Like they're tied to P-switches and shit. And there's like some scattered coins to collect. But to me, that feels more like a fucking chore than actually going on an adventure in an open world. The majority of the map besides those things is just completely empty. And I feel like I'm driving for no reason. Like what the fuck, what's the point of that? And the rewards for doing these little missions, like the P-switches and the stuff I was talking about, all you really get is stickers. You get fucking stickers like I'm in kindergarten and I did a good job of my coloring sheet, so I get a little sticker. I don't get characters. I don't get car parts. I don't get any new tracks. I get fucking stickers. Like, who is out here trying to grind for stickers? I promise you, no one I've ever met in my lifetime is trying to waste their time doing all that extra shit for some stickers. That's just stupid. Now, the only real appeal of the open world besides the stupid little missions is if you're trying to get all of your character costumes, and that's a whole separate thing I'm going to get to, but that process is also just tedious, and I'm going to explain why. In case you don't know, if you haven't played this game, to unlock alternate costumes for your characters, you have to drive and pick up a food cart, you have to have your character eat the food cart, and they unlock a costume, which in theory sounds kind of fun, right? But it's not, because you have to switch all of the characters manually. You have to scroll all the way through this bloated ass roster. Every character has like 5 or 6 costumes, at least like the mainline Mario characters. And you have to scroll through and pick them and just drive back to the same food cart and keep doing that over and over and over and over again. It's this bizarre, like repetitive loop that turns this open, fun exploration of an open world that should be fun, but instead it just becomes a stupid side task of trying to get all of these costumes. And the majority of the costumes suck. They're only really there to inflate the character roster because they're all separate little tabs. When you see that before you unlock them, you think, oh, the character roster is going to be huge. There's a lot of characters there. But it really isn't. The vast majority of them is just bloating with all these stupid character costumes that no one really wants. And in the open world itself, you know, there's a lot of Mario characters there. There's like the Toads, Shy Guys, Yoshi, like all that bullshit. But they're just there. They're just standing there. You can't even interact with them. There's no dialogue. There's no quests. It's just window dressing. That's literally all it is. Like, I thought I'd be out in this open world, like whipping my little Mario Kart around, right? Finding secrets and like cool little shortcuts and shit. But I only went in the open world for about an hour, and I don't ever want to go back into it. It just sucks. And that would be, I could let that go maybe if the actual racing in the game was good, but that also kind of sucks. And now we're going to get to that. So first of all, by default, the game automatically turns on smart steering, which drives me insane. But I can let that go. It's subtle. I'll just turn that shit off and never turn it on again. I don't know why it's on by default, but that's another thing that just very mildly annoys me. But as you actually get into the game, you're going to notice that a lot of the shit feels off. It honestly feels like the game is just constantly trying to correct the way that you're driving, and it just feels wrong. And specifically when you start drifting, it's very different. It's way looser if you're coming off Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You can't like really drift sharply at all. And I would not mind that whatsoever. Like, that game's 10 years old. I would like something new, so I have no issues with that, really. But it's the fact that the tracks are not built around that at all. The tracks are just comically fucking wide because there's 24 players, and we're gonna get to that. I fucking hate that. But the tracks are not built for the way that this game handles and the way that you drive in the game. So it just feels like shit when you're trying to actually get into a race. So like I was saying with widening the tracks, I think what they did was they made them wider to fit more players. And that makes sense because Mario Kart World has 24 players instead of 12. It's twice the amount of people. So making the tracks a little wider makes sense. But that doesn't mean that the races are better. Like I said, it feels like shit. And it kind of ruins the flow of the game. Like with the wide roads and the long straightaways with the intermissions in between the tracks, there's not a lot of like tight technical movements. I feel like I'm just driving in a straight line half the fucking time. And I'm going to get to the intermissions later, but that's kind of relevant to what I'm saying right now. So I'm going to stay on topic. And because of the huge player count, if you're in the middle of the pack, anywhere between like 5th and like 20th, you are legitimately just fucked. You are going to get absolutely asshole penetrated by items all over the place. If you're like, honestly, if you're in 5th in a race, just give up. Just hit your brakes, stop the car, stay in the back of the pack until the end of the race, because you will just get absolutely ass blasted by items. It is such chaos. And you might think, oh, it's Mario Kart, the chaos is fun. To a degree, I do agree with that, but it is just so comically stupid in this game, to the point where if I'm actually doing well in a race, I don't feel like I deserve it. And if I'm doing like shit in a race, I don't feel like I deserve to be doing like shit. So no matter what I do, I don't feel like I've earned that. Like, there have been so many times, I'll use this as an example, where I am racing and I'm in first for the first 2 laps. And then out of nowhere, halfway through the 3rd lap, I just get red shelled and blue shelled and everything comically hits me at the same time. And I go from way in the front, from like first place, all the way down into the low 20s at the end. And I just get absolutely fucked. And I'm like, what even just happened? Okay, and that's fine to happen occasionally. We're playing fucking Mario Kart. I understand that. But that happens way too frequently. Like, it's stupid. And I have very similar experiences when I'm in the back. Like, all of a sudden, we get to the 3rd lap and I'm in the back. I start spamming my items. All of a sudden, I'm flying past all the chaos in the middle of the pack because I can get to some shortcuts now that I have good items. And all of a sudden, I'm in the front of the pack. I didn't earn that shit. I just sat in the back the whole time and spammed my fucking items at the end. That doesn't take skill. Like, it's just complete chaos in the middle, to the point where no one wants to be anywhere in the middle. If you're not in first and you're not in last, you want to be, because there's no point in being anywhere else. You're just going to get fucked. And I would say that this actually goes double for anything online related. You are not rewarded for racing well. You are literally just rewarded for surviving the fucking chaos. You could be taking the most optimal, perfect lines, every shortcut. You know exactly what you're doing. You're playing perfectly, and you will just get ass blasted. And I get that it's Mario Kart and that has to happen occasionally. It's very RNG. There's supposed to be a low skill gap. I understand that, but it is way too frequent. It's just ridiculous how often shit like that happens. Also, quickly, before I forget, I want to talk about Knockout Tour. I actually really like Knockout Tour. This is the one thing about the game that I will say, yes, this is an objective W. I really enjoy Knockout Tour. That's actually built for 24 players. It utilizes the open world properly. The intermissions make sense for the tracks there. It's very fun. Like, that shit is actually, that's the right amount of chaos. It's very random and it's very fun. So Knockout Tour is fun. I hope they keep that going for future Mario Karts. But I do not enjoy normal races online at all. And another thing I've noticed is, because all of the tracks are kind of stitched into this big open world that they made, none of them really have any individual personality. And this really started sticking out to me when I was driving to the tracks and I realized to myself, I have no idea where the fuck the course ends and the transition to the next course begins. And that was like especially true when I was playing the Grand Prix and when I play versus mode online. It all just kind of blurs together after a while. Like, there's no real personality to these tracks. It's all just one big blur, and I really don't like that. And as far as the shortcuts in the game go and like all the crazy shit I've seen, I will admit the shortcuts that I've seen online are absolutely ridiculous. Like that takes so much technical skill to pull off. But what I've noticed is half the time, they don't even save you any time. Like it looks cool, it's really flashy, and I'm gonna look at that and be like, wow, that motherfucker doesn't get off his fat ass and go outside, because what is he even doing? I've seen people like flying across the track and tricking off walls. I'm like, what the fuck? But half the time, you only do that to fall behind. Like, they aren't really functional. They just look cool from what I've seen so far. I also want to briefly talk about battle mode. I'm not really a battle mode player, but objectively, it fucking sucks in this game. They kind of pulled the Mario Kart 8 all over again, the original Mario Kart 8 for like the Wii U. The battle mode in this game sucks. They don't even really get any individual tracks. I don't give a shit about battle mode, so I'm not gonna like be like losing my mind. Oh, Nintendo, what the fuck? But I can even realize, as someone who doesn't play the battle mode, that is objectively lazy, and it is really lackluster in this game. Like, wow. And look, before people comment this, I understand that games are evolving all the time now. That's pretty much how every game works. They're pretty much all live service and drop pretty shitty. Mario Kart World, it's probably going to get a lot of updates, patches. It may even get like a huge overhaul, kind of like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did with the Booster Course Pass, right? But I don't think the core mechanics are going to change. And that's what's holding me back the most. And that's why I was so confident to make this video and say that the game is trash. The unpredictability, the lack of control, the over-reliance on chaos and bullshit, you can't patch that out. That's how people recognize this game now. Like, that's how it is. That's the game. Now, I want you all to remember that this game costs $80 by itself. And I was one of the people defending the price, not the $80 price point. I said that was bullshit. But I was defending the fact that, hey, if you get it bundled in with the system, it's only $50. That's a pretty fair price for what you're getting. I don't even know if this game is worth $50. I'm not gonna lie. The open world is the selling point, and the open world sucks. I think at this point, I would have rather just had another linear Mario Kart game, kind of like 8 Deluxe, where it's just linear and it's 3-lap tracks. That's really all it needed. If the open world was good, I would be supportive of it, but no. And $80 for that, for an unfinished, like bland Assassin's Creed-ass open world? No, that is not worth $80. That's just stupid. Even back when I liked the game about a week ago, I said, hell no, it's not worth $80. And I especially stand on that point now. And I brought this up in the video I made the other day, but I'll just bring this up again quickly. Other companies are going to see this now. They're going to see, wow, those fucking idiots paid $80 for a generic-ass Mario Kart game just because they slapped open world on it. Wow, they're fucking stupid. Wow, we underestimated how stupid people are and what they'll pay. So now Xbox and PlayStation are going to see that and go, wow, we're going to start charging $80. They're already doing it. There was a game that's coming out for $80 on Xbox. I forgot what it's called. It's been getting a lot of news. I don't really know what game it is, to be honest with you. But I did see Xbox is already doing it. And like, just wait until Activision or 2K, the greediest companies imaginable, they're going to see, wow, they're paying $80. Let's start charging $80. And people are going to pay for $80 for fucking Call of Duty and 2K slop. People will easily do that. Like, they have no issue doing that. And it's a real fucking problem. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That went from me trying to do an actual review to just me yelling into the mic about how shit this game is. I really wanted to like it. Like, I was rooting for this game. You heard me last week. I was even enjoying it. But even then, like, I'm seeing all of the issues in this game and I can't ignore it. I'm just not enjoying it anymore. So that's pretty much where I am. I haven't played this game probably in like a week now. That's where we are with it. I'm just really not enjoying it anymore. But anyway, if you agree with anything I said, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with anything, if you think I'm a stupid fuck, also let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. But yeah, on that note, I'm out of here, people. Thank you to my members. I appreciate you, boys. And until the next video, this has been your boy Tex, just shitting on Mario Kart World because it's shit. And I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace.